about any of this shit I'm teaching you, and yet they're profitable. I'm aware of that. But I have to be me. And I'm sure when Larry Williams said what he said, he had well-meaning intentions as to encourage his students, like he was initially dealing with me. I was like, okay, so no one's going to get my stop loss. Because as soon as I understood what he was teaching, a stop loss order was going to protect me from losing more money, but I'm going to lose money. Fuck that. I don't want to put that in there. Because if I'm doing this, I should be right. That's what you're expecting to learn as a trader, right? Everybody comes to that conclusion when they first come here. Not just to me, to anybody trying to learn how to trade. When you buy a book, you're thinking, okay, he's going to teach me how to not take loss. You're going to teach me how to never take a losing trade. Nobody has that. Nobody has that book. Nobody has that course. Nobody has that mentorship. Nobody has that secret technique. You're going to trade with my concepts. You're going to have losing trades and you're going to have winning trades, like anything else. The difference is when you are wrong here, you're not going to be going back and trying to form fit what setting on your indicator would have avoided that. You fucking lost. Next trade. It doesn't mean anything's broken. It just means you had a human error. You did something wrong. Own it. Take full responsibility for it. You had money management behind the trade properly. It did not crush your account. It did not make you nuts because you had a losing transaction. It just means, guess what? You got a flat tire. It sucks. Suck it up. Get on the road again. It's simple as that. But you're going to make it bigger than it really is because you're bringing in what? Preconceived notions to, hey, every trader that makes money never loses. That's how I went into this. Because I looked at what Larry Williams did, being promoted back then. Oh shit, he took $10,000 to $1.2 million in 1 year. And then when I found that he was over $2 million at his equity high, that was it. Nobody could have told me anything bad about him then. And here's the thing. He lost more than half of that equity high. And I didn't even see it like that. I held on to the fact that he got up to 2.2 million. Hey, he did 2.2 million. He didn't go home with 2.2 million. He got there though. Now, as a trader looking back now, more mature, I can appreciate the fact that he went from 2.2 down to 700,000 and back up to 1.2. But at the time, as a young man, it completely went over my head that he was at 2.2 and lost all the way down to 700,000. That, to me, is much more impressive to come back from that drawdown and still come out with 1.2. But the fact that in my infancy, not even recognizing that level of drawdown, like I didn't want to see it as a bad thing. And that's why I don't want you all to refer to me as the greatest of all time, the GOAT, the king. Number one, that builds an expectation that's unrealistic. Because I am not infallible. I do things incorrect. I do sometimes not do it right. And that doesn't mean that you can't learn from me. It doesn't mean that these concepts don't work. It just means that I am human. I have a lot of things that go against me. And you get to hear these character flaws when I'm doing these live streams and Twitter spaces where there's no filter with me. And you literally hear and experience the mood swings that I go through. And these are, well, they're not even at the extreme. Like there's times where I'm swinging crazily and I can't control it. Bipolarism is very difficult to live with. And it's really hard for the people around you. And trading with it and teaching with it, to me, I'm astonished that I'm effective at all, because I know how it's hard for me to listen to certain people, and I know how I can really like to listen to certain individuals, but they have nothing to offer. And then there's some people that you'll listen to that you really can resonate with, and you can just like listening to them. And I know I'm not the cup of tea for some of you, and I wish I could fix it, but I can't. And just try to take me out of that. I'm just a conduit. Go to the content, study it, take what you need to make yourself better with it, and just, keep me abreast as what you did with it. That's all I'm asking for. I'm interested to see what you do with my life's work. That's all. And already you can see some people already, are doing amazing things. And to me and my family, we're actively interested in seeing what all of you do with it. This year, I believe, will be a monumental experience for all of you. It will be for me because, I'm trying to do everything I can, but I'm not short on realistic expectations, knowing that I will still meet with failure in some of you. I won't connect the dots for some of you. And if that happens, my last request would be for you to give it some time, take some time away from it, and come back to it later on and see if it doesn't do it for you then. But at least try to be there when we're doing the live sessions, because you'll see it and you'll hear me talk about it, and I'll explain what I'm seeing and what it should do and what it shouldn't do. And don't discount the fact that it's on a 1 and 5 minute chart, because everything I'm talking about is the same thing every time frame is going to do. When you see what I'm referring to, it'll make much more sense when you start back testing and looking at old data. It'll literally leap off the chart at you, and it'll feel like, you ever seen a stereogram? If you've never seen a stereogram, some people can't see a stereogram. What it is if you look at a picture, and it's usually made with like dots or some kind of pattern, and if you look at it casually, it just looks like, okay, well, there's nothing to that. But if you let your eyes relax, almost feel like you're crossing, there's a 3-dimensional image that'll come to view. And when you have the experience of, once you understand what I'm teaching you, you'll look at the charts and they'll be just like that experience the first time you see a stereogram. And probably some of you right now, if you're Googling, what is a stereogram? If you've never had that experience of seeing one, it's really neat. And some of them are pretty lame once you finally see what they're hiding. But they'll draw like a picture of a horse. There'll be an image of a horse or a fish, or it could be a word or whatever. Something's hidden inside that picture. And when you finally see price for what it is, on the days it's going to do certain things. Like, for instance, the other day, not yesterday, not the day we just finished, but the previous day, where I gave you every level for the day, and it ran up, closed in the 60-minute fair value gap, broke down, went back to the opening gap, and down into the fair value gap that's shaded in blue. Like, it did the whole full Monty that day. Every level I gave you had something to deal with that individual day. When you have that moment of astonishment where you can see these things before they happen, and you know where they're going to key up on, where the highs and lows are going to form, where the setups are going to form, and all you got to do is wait for the time of day when it's going to form, there's nothing that you can use in terms of words to describe it. It's that moment of what feels like real magic. It feels like all the planets aligned. Like everything finally makes sense. And it's a weird epiphany that I still am always trying to find a way to articulate it. And I can't, because none of the words I could string together won't even come close. It feels like you can finally see it. The thing that you don't even know what you're looking for, which makes no sense. You listening to me right now, and I'm hearing my own words. It doesn't reach far enough. It doesn't, because it gives you a sense of empowerment that when you experience it and you start living it and you can see it repeating all the time, if you communicate the level of confidence you have in it, you're going to sound arrogant too. You're going to. And at some point, you're not going to give a fuck what people think, because you don't have time to explain it. And at 50 years old, I don't have time to explain it. Okay, I don't have a way of explaining it where you're gonna have to experience it yourself. And some of you have been experiencing it. Students that have gone through mentorship, they have experienced it. They make real fucking money. They don't give a shit whether you believe them or not. They don't give a fuck. They don't care. None of that matters. Their life is completely and permanently fucking changed for the positive. They don't give a rat's ass. Who's making videos about what? Who's talking about what? They don't give a shit. When you start making money, be honest now. Text